Hey, what's up guys, it's Liam or Wiggle on your Overwatch, back with a new video. Today, we need to go through how to never ever trickle in again, ever, in Overwatch. Now, this is a massive community widespread issue that I think needs to be resolved and talked about, and I think that it's actually fairly simple. I've got some gameplay that will show you exactly how to and how not to trickle in, but I think really this issue is so widespread it affects 6-stack, solo queue, and everything. So make sure you spread it around with your friends, so hopefully as a community we can learn when to not keep dying and regroup with your team. So the first thing I want to go through is a gameplay on Hollywood at a point where trickling always happens, and it is Streets phase, and you'll see that the team do trickle and it isn't successful. Now what should have happened was the door that Winston just went through, we should have just regrouped behind that and then pushed when we had 6. Instead, the Winston, which is FREEDO, a member of this channel, dives in trying to make a play because we are in solo queue at this point. Unfortunately, it doesn't work, and it never was going to against the comp that they had, and he gets shredded by the Reaper and the Ana. He then does die and change hero, and from this point he decides, well, actually, maybe we won't trickle and we'll regroup. Now, on live stream just yesterday, we had this exact issue on this exact map, and we had 3 people alive, and I actually made everyone back up to this point. We all backed up to the point, pushed out, and wiped them. I also have another very good example I'll show you on screen of Volskaya when I'm trying to nano my Rhine friend, and him and a couple of the other people are going to trickle. I call for him to come back, which is just enough time to get to the point right at the end, nano him, and wipe them. It is way more important to regroup than it is to trickle most of the time. Of course, if it's the very last split second and there's nothing else to do, then there are the rare occasion where trickling is okay, but generally it isn't. So once FREEDO respawns on this Hollywood game, he decides, right, we need to actually regroup. As he decides this, our Mercy and our McCree trickle in and die, leaving us 4v6 once more. So FREEDO backs up even further, and I don't think that people understand that when you say regroup and back up, as our Tracer dies as well, it literally means back all the way up, on attack and on defense. If you're going to regroup, don't peek, don't feed ults at all, as our Rhine goes in and dies. Now, the Rhine wasn't necessarily in a bad position, but we still hadn't regrouped, and the McCree dies. How obvious is this? From this point of view, from back here, how obvious is this that there's a massive trickling issue in this game and in the community? Regrouping literally means regroup. It doesn't mean poke or do a little bit of damage or try and charge Zarya shields. It literally means regroup. Because if you don't, the chances of you trickling yourself are a lot higher than you getting a pick. Now, you'll see already from this example of gameplay, we've lost the game. We've not no chance. We haven't even had any time to actually have a team fight, and this happens a lot, and particularly in solo queue and duo queue, it is of course worse than 6-stacking because of communication and whatever. The thing is, think about how many minutes you're actually wasting by not regrouping and constantly having 1 or 2 people trying to regroup with a team, more trickle, etc. So we're going to go on to another gameplay here, which has every example of trickling in about 3 or 4 minutes of video. Now, this is crazy stuff. The enemy team are trying to push us on Gibraltar, and at this point, the payload's in the middle and the spawns are even on both sides, so neither team can afford to trickle. But you'll see again from this point of view, we have a trickler. Hello, Rhine. How are you doing? So the Reinhardt's down and they're 5v6. The Pharah comes in and doesn't manage to kill her, but he does kill the Ana. So again, another 5 seconds or so of trickle. Once more, the Pharah then comes in and pushes in again and goes up, kills the Pharah. Another 5 seconds of trickle. Now, this happens for the first 2 or 3 minutes on this point. How many of them minutes have they actually had a team fight? 0. They've not had any. They've had no time to actually regroup. You'll see again, they're poking again, they're charging our ults again, and also giving us the opportunity to possibly get another pick, all in our favour. This is what trickling is. This is what regrouping is. They literally had to back up to spawn at that point in order to regroup. Now, once again, they're coming in, and they're still slightly down because someone's still in spawn, but it's just kind of a mishmash of a team fight. We drop the beat, And from here on, we actually managed to wipe the enemy team. Now, this is what's interesting, and this actually shows exactly why regrouping is the thing to do. And I mean literally regroup in your spawn. Back off to your spawn or die. Suiciding or dying isn't necessarily that bad either. The worst thing you can do is stay alive and then die as your team come out of spawn. That is like the epitome of Trickling, right? Your team are about to respawn and then you die. You should have either jumped off the map or just stood in front of them and let them kill you so that you come with your team. So what's funny is we've team wiped them, which actually forces the enemy team to regroup because we killed them all at the same time. They then come in together and they actually wipe us. They destroy us. We even res in the middle of it and they still wipe us. But then do you know what does happen? And this again is showing the beauty of the regroup, right? They've pretty much wiped us, but a couple of people are just ahead of the rest of the team. So they kind of hang back and we push out at the very last minute. Now this is as close to overextending as you can get because you see that the enemy team did actually manage to cap the point, which we didn't want. However, again, we get a couple of picks and the enemy team don't back off to their spawn. Therefore, we're able to get more kills and again, 10 seconds of trickle again. Another 10 seconds of trickle from another player. You'll see again, they're still poking us. In fact, we force them back towards the old original spawn and get another pick on the McCree. Again, another 10 seconds. How many times has this happened so far? A minute, 2 minutes of gameplay, and that's without the first minute where it happened that I didn't even bother showing because it happened so much I didn't need to in this game. So what regrouping means, guys, is literally that. It literally means regroup. More trickle again. They keep doing it. We've killed another 3 and the Pharah is still coming. I think she may be trying to back off, but she dies as well. The enemy team again are still poking to do some damage, charging our ultimates. Another 10 seconds and another 10 seconds and the McCree's gone and another all of this free time. And I think that, yes, I'm repeating myself, but it needs to be said. It needs to be shown just how important this time wasting is, because it's just charging our ults. And until they regroup, which they do actually do in a minute, they get the whole team up and they wipe us. And it does bring me to the last example that I do want to show you guys. So we get wiped, and this is the true importance of it. And this is what we tried to do on the other point as well, is everyone dies apart from our Pharah and our Mercy. And they actually back all the way up to the choke point. And to be fair, they could have backed off further because the Mercy could have got picked here. We wait for the entire team to regroup. We let them have the point for free. We don't charge their ults. We've already got some of our ults anyway. The whole team come in together and then you take it and it's so much easier. Overwatch is all about team fights. This whole 1v1 carry thing, yeah, it can occasionally work at some ranks in solo queue if you're Genji or whatever, but trickling is one of the biggest issues in the game. Now, there's a couple of others. DPS is one of them. How often do you hear we need more DPS? Well, actually, two things are usually more often true than we need better DPS or more of it, and they are we actually need more focus fire, or we need to back the DPS up. We need to go in as a team, not poke at the choke. Because if you're poking, fighting while your team are in spawn, and then you die as they spawn, as I mentioned earlier, that is the worst possible thing you can do. It's not worth the risk. It really isn't. Even a Zarya, I don't know how many Zaryas I see trying to just get a bit of charge. Their team are in spawn, so they poke out and try and get a bit of charge. How often does that Zarya get hooked? Or booped by Pharah and then killed by their McCree? How often does that happen? If they'd have simply waited in spawn, then initiated with the team, they'd get their charge instantly anyway. And that isn't just a Zarya issue, that is a all hero issue. You see your McCree poking and then your McCree, just like in that example at the start of this video, goes in and dies. So there's another 10 seconds that you lose. And I tell you what, on defense in particular, trickling's even worse, because if you trickle on defense, you don't have that far to back up to. If you trickle on attack, right, your team can back up, it's easier. On defense, trickling is the biggest no-no ever, and it will lose you the game. And regrouping just to hopefully take that final part of the point that they're about to get is much more important. Give them Streets phase if you have to, because regrouping is always more important than trying to 1v6 everything, even in solo queue. So I know that this is harder in solo queue, and that's why I want you guys to share it with your friends so that we can learn as a community. If I missed anything though, the comment section is the place to go. Regrouping over everything. Don't trickle. Don't be that guy. It's a team-based game as much as you'd like to think you could carry, and I also have been guilty of trickling, and it's only something we've learned recently truly how bad it is. You can watch a pro game and you'll see as soon as they get wiped or half of them get wiped, they'll either jump off the map or regroup with their team. So let me know what you think. Be sure to check out our Discord and our Twitter. The Discord is particularly good for finding people to play with. All regions, all consoles, platforms, and everything. You can follow us on Twitter where you get updates for our videos, and we stream on Twitch every single day. We've been doing team tryouts and we play with our viewers every week. Be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you guys enjoyed, and have a great day as always. Take care and peace, people.